Hello everyone and welcome back to The Crow. I'm Lauren Ballard, the Multimedia Editor for the Chanticleer. The Crow is our podcast, and here we will briefly discuss and go behind the scenes on the stories that were published this past week. This week, I'm here with sports editor Austin Tackett.
Hello, my name's Austin Tackett. I'm the sports editor.
Okay, Austin, so what sports did you cover this week?
This week, football. We were supposed to have a golf story turned in, but just football.
Just football?
Yep.
What was the most interesting thing about the football that happened this week?
Probably DeAndre Johnson had his a career game in all receptions, yards, touchdowns. But also Cam Cook surpassing 1,000 yards. The first back in the FBS to do so in the entirety of the NCAA. So it's neat that it happened here at Jack State. That's probably the most interesting thing that happened, other than the Gamecocks remaining undefeated in Conference USA and sitting in a tie with Kennesaw State.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, nothing really went on.
Well, you did your sports feature on Cam Cook. What went into that feature?
Hours of going back to old voice memos, recordings, interviews with Cook, the coaches, his teammates. It was honestly probably the most time I've spent on a story in the last few months, other than some stories I've done for my internship. But it was just really about going into everything that I've done in the past and figuring out what can fit into this story and what kind of fits the mold that I'm going for.
Mm-hmm. You also cover a lot of our FAQs, gamers, pressers, and report cards. Can you break down what each of those are and how they're different?
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, the gamer is pretty simple. It's the basic news story in sports. I mean, obviously, you're kind of letting the audience know what happened during the game, but you're also, what I like to do is kind of look for stories inside the gamer. Like the gamer I did this past week, while it wasn't for the Chanticleer, I kind of focused on DeAndre Johnson. You know, him being 6'8" obviously is a blessing, so that's kind of what I led in with. But obviously talk about the game a little bit, what happened throughout the game. You know, Cam Cook surpassed 1,000 yards. So the gamer's basically the simplest version of basic news you'll get in sports. Report cards is it's kind of more an opinionated piece.
Mm-hmm.
I give my opinion on how I think each side of the ball played, including offense, defense, special teams, and overall. Those probably get the most slack on Facebook and online. But that obviously opinionated pieces are going to do that. And the fact is, frequently asked questions, of course, kind of just let fans know where they can watch, where the Gamecocks are going to be at, where they can listen, who they're playing, why is it important, and just give a little bit of information regarding the other team they're playing, information surrounding the game, stuff that can happen throughout the game, et cetera, et cetera. I believe that's everything you asked for.
I think so. I think pressers.
Oh, yeah, press conferences. You don't always get a story out of press conferences, but kind of like we were talking about with the Cam Cook feature, it'll always come back to help you. I mean, I can think of at least 5 or 6 press conferences that we didn't get a story out of, or that we didn't post something out of, that I used for this last story. So everything kind of comes back full circle with press conferences. You'll never know when you'll need that information. You'll never know when you'll need those interviews, et cetera, et cetera.
Out of those 4 that we mentioned, and you could add the feature in there as well, which ones are your favorite ones to write and least favorite ones to write, and why?
Well, my favorite thing to write in sports is a column, but I didn't post any columns this week. But out of those, I mean, obviously I enjoy gamers probably the most, because you're at a game, right? You get to sit in the press box, you get to watch football, you get paid to watch football. So I think that's probably my favorite thing to do. But you have a lot more freedom with features. You can do what you want. Obviously, you have to keep the opinion out of it. It has to be true. But I think features gives you more free range of kind of what to write about and kind of how you want to write about it, et cetera, stuff like that. But I would say gamers are probably the most fun, just considering the environment. You know, you're around a whole bunch of other reporters. It kind of feels like you're in a professional field, even though we're still in college. But features are probably the most entertaining to write, I would say, because you have a little bit more freedom with them. But just backtracking to the experience, I think gamers are probably the most fun.
And you mentioned the press box. Not many people have ever seen a press box or been up there. What was your first experience like when you first went to the press box?
Yeah, well, my first experience, actually, it wasn't that long ago. 2 years ago. Well, this spring it'll be 2 years ago. It definitely wasn't the best first experience, because it wasn't like a full press box experience. It was for a spring game, right? So there was maybe me and 3 other reporters in the room. But my first real press box experience was Jack State's home opener last season against Coastal Carolina. That's when I really got the full experience. You know, the popcorn, the free Chick-fil-A, the free drinks, being surrounded by, I guess you could say, a handful of other people that are doing the same thing that you want to do in the future. Being surrounded by professionals in the field, I think, is very neat. that experience was really surreal for me, especially going throughout the season, going to different press boxes. Whether you want to say Louisville, Western Kentucky, Kennesaw State, even though they didn't have us in a box, they had us outside. Anyways, I think each have been kind of unique and a great experience, but I don't know. It's something about the Jack State press box that it's way above its level. I mean,
really?
You've been up there, you know what I mean, right?
I mean, when I went up there, it wasn't like that deep.
Well, yeah, but like in terms of what we have versus what we are, I think is what I'm kind of going for. Like, it's hard to compare it to somebody like Kennesaw, right? Because they've only had a football program for a handful of years. So their press box was for soccer, and not a lot of press cover soccer. But when you compare it to stuff like Western Kentucky, I think our press box competes really up there with a lot of schools. Obviously, it's not like SEC level, but that experience, the way that our athletic department takes care of us, from the meals, from the drinks, from the snacks, really everything. The experience is kind of, I wouldn't say untouchable, right? But like in terms of Conference USA college football, kind of untouchable.
Yeah, they really treat y'all good up there. That's for sure. Because there's food on like every level. Yeah. You can get food whenever.
Basketball season's approaching. It starts next week. That should be a lot of fun. Last season was a roller coaster for sure. I mean, we had the best player in Conference USA in Jerome Pierre. He's obviously left, and now he's at SMU. So I'm really excited to see what Harper does with this team. I think there's a lot of potential here. Being second place in Conference USA last year, and I guess I can say the same thing for the baseball team. There's a lot of potential there. I think Beezer's doing a great thing. So there should be a lot of stories to come out from basketball and baseball season. Golf just wrapped up, so I'm expecting a lot from their spring season. The men's team played really well this fall. The women's team, while they kind of fell off a little bit from last year, I've met Robbie a few times, and if there's one thing I know about Robbie, it's he loves golf, and he's going to get those girls turned around. So I'm looking forward to the spring sports coming around. Football's coming to an end. Just 4 more games left, I believe.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It feels like it just started.
Just 2 home games, so pack the stands. Let's make it a good one for our guys. Guys like Michael Petway, they're not going to get to play another college football game at home after Western Kentucky, unless they host the Conference USA Championship, of course. They get their last couple of games here at Amherst Stadium, so I think if anybody's listening that of importance, pack the stands, get out there, show your support for the Gamecocks. It definitely makes a difference, I would say. But I'm looking forward to the end of the football season. I'm looking forward to the spring sports getting rolling around. And yeah, I mean, shoot, I'm Austin Tackett. I'm the sports editor, and it was a great conversation.
Thank you, Austin. I appreciate it. All right, now I'm here with AnnaKate Freeland, our editor-in-chief. AnnaKate, you wrote a story this week about Jack State's Board of Trustees approving parental leave. Can you go into that and what that exactly means?
Yes. So starting on January 1st, mothers will be able to get up to 8 weeks and fathers will be able to get up to 4 weeks of paid parental leave. And so like not just giving birth though, it also applies to like foster care, adoption, and if you have a miscarriage too, which I think is great, especially with how many like employees are here. And I know if I was having a baby, like it would definitely be stressful to take off without payment. And I know like having the father now be able to get that paid leave too is like a newer thing, which I mean I think is great too, because like obviously I think raising a child is hard. So getting that paid leave and like being secure, knowing that like you're gonna get paid and when you come back you'll like most likely be able to still keep your job, I think it's definitely needed.
Yeah, for sure. Alongside of the story that you wrote, you also give out stories to our workshoppers. We have about 12 or 11.
I think we have like 8 or 9.
We have
6. I mean, we're all
including us. Yeah. So besides us, we have like 8 workshoppers, and we touched on this a little bit last episode. But can you go into what exactly is a workshopper and how you get involved?
Yes. So our workshoppers, our guests are like our volunteer staff, and they are able to write for us while also earning like their school credits. And so what like they do is they sign up for the class. It's like COM 360 News Publishing Workshop, and you just have to get approved by our advisor to enroll in the class. But once you're in there, you'll work with the editors once a week. So we'll basically have like a meeting every Monday, and we'll give out your assignment and help you with it if you have questions. And then once you're done with it, you turn it in to the editors, and I normally edit them and will help like give you feedback, corrections, and things like that. And we, like our workshoppers, do more like all kinds of stories, sports, photography, like basic news story, features, magazine stories. So there's definitely like a big variety of things you can do, and it's a great way to get like real life experience. I know in like the intro classes you write like these fake news stories. I mean, it's a great way to practice like the format, but those aren't real human sources. And so you also learn like in interviewing, like how to even interview somebody, how to like be aware of what they say and be like, oh, okay, I should ask this question next. I mean, it definitely takes practice. When you come into the class, I know probably you'd be able to describe it better, but like when it's your first week in the class, you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's very, and you're gonna get comments back from AnnaKate, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is wrong."
Yeah.
But you learn, and if anyone is interested, definitely contact Ben Cunningham or anybody in the communications department. But you don't necessarily have to be a communications major to join.
You don't have to be a communication major, and you don't have to be a certain like classification. So like it could be your first semester as a freshman or your last semester as a senior, and that work also looks really like good on your portfolio, like that you have work that has been published online and not just a story you wrote and left it you know, like in your Google Drive.
Yes. And although we would love for everyone to be in the class, you also don't necessarily have to be in a class
you
to
know
write.
So yeah, literally if you just say, hey, I want to try writing, I want to try this, taking photos, great. You'll just meet with me and I'll set you up like an event you can go to or a story you can write, and just walk you through how to begin writing a story, because news writing is definitely very different from just like essay writing.
AP style.
Yeah, even just like
crazy.
It's very different, and I would say you can't just like go into it blindly, like showing up, knowing what, because you have to prep before, know what questions you're asking, know what the answer you're trying to, or know the question you're trying to answer for your audience, whether that just be like, if you go to an event, what did the event look like, who came, what was the event for, or if you're doing like, I guess like an investigative piece, like what questions do the audience have that you have the power to figure out for them.
Exactly. You are here for the people.
Yes,
sure, yes.
Our First Amendment right.
Yeah, but we do have people on our team who are not taking the class, but mainly a lot of them do our photos for us. So we have a couple people that go out and shoot football events, just anything.
Yeah, our main thing is photography. I feel like that is like a really big field that is like kind of people are starting to get more into, but like there's so many different ways you can tell a story.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like AnnaKate already said, it's such a good opportunity to get your stuff out there, published on a portfolio, and gain experience on a collegiate level rather than just your friend's graduation party, for sure. Yeah, which is not bad. But another thing that happened this week, which AnnaKate, you weren't there for, but you have covered, are city councils.
Yes. Yeah, why don't you tell us about that? 'Cause you were the one that showed up.
I did go to the city council. For those who haven't been to Jacksonville city council meetings, which I don't think is necessary, a lot of people. I mean, I've been to the ones there's probably like max 20 people there on a good day. They go in and they have an agenda set out, and they go into
maybe you should start with what even is the city council.
Okay. What is this?
The city council is 5 elected, I guess, community members who run for the position. They ultimately get to make decisions for the city. So like, you know, the big thing this summer was like Brothers not getting their license. Like they made that decision, and yeah, like that's what they do. So they have to meet every 2 weeks publicly to discuss things, and like if you want them to vote on something or change something, like the public has to take it to them in front of the public. Yeah,
which always makes it interesting. It's one thing to show up and they vote on if your favorite bar is going to be open next year or not, but the public's comments about things is the public's comments about things is my favorite thing to show up for, really. But yeah, this past week, what had happened?
The ER stuff.
Oh yes, Jacksonville's freestanding ER. At first, I think they were just opening a bid on it, but now they're going out and getting hospitals who want to sponsor it, own it, or whatever, present to the city council and to the public, and they can all decide on which one they think is best fit for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal. We had, I think it was at ABC or WB. Or
Yeah,
somebody
ABC was there. 3340.
Yeah. Actually, that was so interesting because we've had WVTM come and talk to us for classes, and they'll talk about, like, yeah, we'll be editing in the car. They were straight up in the car editing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I walked by, and the 4 of them were just going at it, and I was like, okay. I see you. I'm not gonna do mine until I get home.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not that deep about it, but no, it was city councils are actually really fun, and it's a great way to learn about your community and where you live and the decisions that are being made around, especially if you live in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Something you definitely need to look into if you're interested. Another really big thing that we put out this week was our editorial. What was it called? Censorship
has no place in student journalism.
Censorship has no place in student journalism. AnnaKate mainly wrote this, so Anna.
I mean, no. Okay, editorials are, for those who don't know, they are
our voices.
Yeah. So like I think at bigger, the way Cunningham explained it to me, like at bigger newsrooms, they'll have like an editorial board kind of. So like you're on the board or on the group of people that like discuss the topic, but since there's 4 of us, we all did it. But at Indiana a couple weeks ago, administration fired the student media advisor after he told them his students, well, they wanted him to tell his students that you can't publish print anymore, and he said, I'm not doing that. They fired him, pulled print from the students, and so like that is clear censorship. And I mean, I know like what we talked about too when I put in the story, like at Indiana where there's 40,000 students and like here there's only 10,000 of us, like if they can do that to them, like how easily could they do it to us?
Right.
Like it, I don't know, it's definitely not, I mean, it is scary, but I think more than anything it just showed like it's a real thing that happens and it's an issue.
It really is, and I'm glad we got to speak about it because I know we weren't aware of it until we went to DC and they were like, this is going on. Y'all need to get involved and know about it. Not many people in Alabama know or care about what's going on up in Indiana.
Yeah.
Right? So us sharing this and what's going on, one of my favorite things that I thought I would quote from what you wrote, or that we all discussed. Freedom of press is one of the most underappreciated and underestimated rights, especially on college campuses where administration thinks they have ultimate authority and students believe it too. When that freedom is threatened anywhere, it affects all of us. Yeah. So a lot of people, I think, really appreciated us putting this out, especially with the First Amendment and how that's affecting not just the press but worldwide.
Yeah.
People. It was really good that we put this out and brought attention to it in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Well, they did just announce, though, that he's filed a lawsuit.
Oh, yes. Okay. I haven't read that yet. But, yeah, he did file a lawsuit against the university.
Administrators changed their minds. And it says the IDS to continue printing after IU reverses course.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
We did it. Well, they did it.
Yes. Don't take away their First Amendment right.
No, because people get mad. I mean.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, already too, like everyone is thinking like that President Donald Trump is taking away people's First Amendment right. And like whether you agree with that or not, like it is a concern on people's minds.
Yeah. Well, that's all I had today. AnnaKate, thank you for coming out and talking with me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Till next week.
That's all for The Crow. Stay up to date with JSU news and make sure you check out our website at jsuchanticleer.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JSU Chanticleer.